Rain tapped softly against the cracked window of the small roadside café, each drop echoing like a quiet reminder of how fragile life could be. Inside, the warmth was uneven. One corner smelled of fresh tea and fried bread, while another carried the chill of people who had nowhere else to go. She sat there, small and still, her hands wrapped around a chipped cup that had long gone cold. Her dress was faded, her shoes worn thin, but it was her eyes that held the most weight. Too old, too tired for someone so young. People passed her table without noticing. Or maybe they noticed and chose not to see. Until he walked in. He didn't belong in a place like this. His coat was too fine, his posture too composed, his presence too deliberate. Yet he stepped inside without hesitation, shaking off the rain as if it were nothing more than a passing inconvenience. He wasn't supposed to be there. Not really. He had spent the day visiting factories he owned on the outskirts of the city, choosing to drive himself for once, away from the polished world of boardrooms and assistants. A wrong turn, a faulty GPS, and suddenly he found himself in a forgotten neighborhood where wealth didn't reach. He might have left immediately. But then he saw her. She wasn't begging. She wasn't crying. She just sat there quietly, staring at the door each time it opened, like she was waiting for something that never came. Something about that stillness pulled him in. He walked over slowly and took the seat across from her without asking. She looked up, startled, her fingers tightening around the cup. For a moment, neither spoke. Then she said it. "I want a dad." It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. Just a simple sentence, spoken like a truth she had repeated to herself too many times that he blinked, caught off guard. He paused, unsure how to respond, "that's a big wish." She shrugged slightly, her gaze dropping to the table. "Not really. Other kids have one." The words landed harder than they should have. He leaned back slightly, studying her. "Where's your family?" She hesitated, then answered in a flat tone, "I had a mom. She got sick. Then she was gone." A small pause. "I had an uncle. He said I was too much trouble." The rain outside seemed to grow heavier. "And now?" he asked gently. "I stay around here," she said. "The owner lets me sit if I don't bother anyone." He glanced toward the counter. The old man behind it avoided eye contact, but his silence confirmed the story. "What's your name?" he asked. "Amina." He nodded slowly. "I'm Arman." She studied him with quiet curiosity. "You don't look like you belong here." A faint smile tugged at his lips. "I could say the same about you." "I do belong here," she said simply. That certainty stung more than anything else she had said. He wasn't a man easily shaken. He had built empires from nothing, made decisions worth millions without hesitation. But this small girl with her steady voice and tired eyes, unsettled him in ways he couldn't explain. "Why did you say that?" he asked. "About wanting a dad." She looked at him again, this time with a flicker of something vulnerable. "Because dads don't leave," she said. "Even when things are bad." He inhaled slowly, feeling the weight of her words settle somewhere deep. "You believe that?" he asked. She nodded. "If I had one, I wouldn't be here." Silence stretched between them. He thought of his own life. Of endless meetings, empty houses, relationships that never lasted. He had everything people dreamed of, yet nothing that felt anchored. And here she was, asking for something so simple it felt impossible. "I can't be your dad," he said finally, choosing honesty. Her face didn't fall. It didn't change at all. "I know," she replied. "People don't just become dads." Something about the way she accepted it so easily made his chest tighten. "But," he added, surprising even himself. I can help you. She tilted her head. Why? The question caught him off guard again. Because, he said slowly, someone should. She considered that, then asked, will you leave too? He didn't answer right away. Because he didn't know. He had spent his life moving forward, never staying long enough for anything, or anyone, to depend on him. But looking at her, he felt something shift. No, he said quietly. Not like the others. It wasn't a promise he was used to making. She searched his face, as if trying to measure the truth in his words. Then, slowly, she nodded. Okay. That was it. No hesitation. No conditions. Just trust, fragile, undeserved, and given anyway. It terrified him. Over the next few days, he returned. At first, it was just to check on her. Then it became something more. He brought food. Clean clothes. A proper pair of shoes. She accepted everything with quiet gratitude, never asking for more. He learned her habits. How she liked her tea too sweet, how she watched people without speaking, how she smiled only when she forgot she was supposed to be serious. And she learned him. You think too much, she told him once. He laughed. That's my job. You should stop sometimes, she said. It makes you look sad. No one had ever said that to him before. One evening, as the sun dipped below the buildings, painting the sky in soft orange hues, she asked, Are you rich? He hesitated. Yes, he admitted. How rich? He exhaled. Very. She nodded thoughtfully. Then why do you look lonely? The question hit harder than any business negotiation he had ever faced. I didn't always know I was, he said after a moment. She leaned back in her chair. You can have mine. He frowned. Your what? My loneliness, she said simply. I don't like it anyway. He stared at her, speechless. Then, for the first time in years, he laughed, not the polite kind, but something real, something unguarded. You're something else, Amina, he said. I know, she replied, a small smile forming. Days turned into weeks. Paperwork was filed. Arrangements were made. He didn't rush it. He didn't treat it like a transaction. Because it wasn't. The day he came to take her somewhere new, she stood outside the café, clutching a small bag that held everything she owned. Are you sure? He asked her. She looked up at him, her expression steady. Are you? She replied. He smiled softly. I think so. She stepped closer, slipping her small hand into his. Then it's okay. As they walked away, the café owner watched from the doorway, shaking his head in quiet disbelief. The girl who had nothing was leaving with a man who had everything. But neither of them saw it that way. In the car, she looked out the window, her eyes wide as the city changed around her. Where are we going? She asked. Home, he said. She turned to him. Your home? He shook his head gently. Ours. She didn't say anything for a moment. Then, slowly, she leaned against him, her head resting against his arm. I think, she whispered, I got my wish. He swallowed hard, his gaze fixed on the road ahead. Yeah, he said quietly. I think we both did. And somewhere between the rain, the silence, and a simple wish spoken in a forgotten café, two lives that had been incomplete found something they never expected. Not perfection. Not a fairy tale. But something real. Something steady. Something that, for the first time, felt like family.